The national debate intensifies over which restrooms transgender people are allowed to use, and now it's taking hold in Texas. This past week, nearly 1 million people signed a petition calling for a boycott of Target after the retailer pledged to allow transgender customers and employees to use the restroom of the gender they identify with. Texas Republicans are also eyeing the fight. GOP lawmakers are pushing for the state to make clear its opposition to letting men in women's bathrooms. This despite the fallout in North Carolina over the controversial House Bill 2. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick says the issue is a priority for next session. He says it's very possible a statewide bathroom bill is, quote, necessary. Patrick says this isn't about equal rights, but about common sense. So the bathroom fight heading to Texas is our topic this half hour. You can weigh in on our Facebook page and Twitter. Use the hashtag Fox26 4Life. Joining us live in the newsroom is our panel led by our senior legal analyst, Chris Tridico. We have attorney Nomi Hussein and Republican strategist and public policy analyst Jackie Bally. So how do you think lawmakers are going to tackle this in 2017?
Well, if the legislature stays in the same condition that it is now, and I don't see any reason why it won't, there won't be any reason that they can't just push it straight through. And they have a supermajority of Republicans in the House and the Senate and a Republican governor. There won't be any reason that they can't pass this legislation. The question is why do we need it? There's so many things going on in the great state of Texas. Education funding. Texas is almost last in the nation in education. Health care issues that this state needs to tackle. Obesity. All kinds of issues that I think that the Texas legislature could look at. I'm just not sure, Jackie, why this is the great issue that the great state of Texas needs to tackle, especially looking at what's happening in North Carolina with the backlash that they're receiving. What's the great issue?
There are a couple of things. I actually think that the way we have it set up, where each individual city gets to vote if they want to impose an ordinance, I think that's really perfect for the state of Texas. You saw in Houston, it was defeated 60-40. And the reason why it was defeated by such an overwhelming majority is because it's not really a Republican versus Democrat. It's a religious issue. And if it does, for instance, go before the voters statewide, I mean, it depends on how they propose this ordinance. We don't know exactly what he's talking about. But if it does go in front of the voters, it will get passed because it's not a Democrat or Republican issue. It's a religious issue. And you're going to see, once again, statewide, you're going to see people of color who usually don't unite with conservatives. They will unite over this particular issue.
What's the great issue here that we need to face this economic backlash that North Carolina is facing?
Well, Chris, there's not very many things that Donald Trump says that I agree with maybe the exception that we all live on planet Earth. But he said something. He said that why are we even talking about this? We've got so many other problems like you just addressed. Dan Patrick, the lieutenant governor, has said he's going to make this a top priority of the next session. We have a huge flooding problem in the Houston area. Like you said, we have a state education crisis. We have a downturn, a historic downturn in the oil market, which is affecting this whole region. And we're going to talk about a problem that's not even a problem. We're talking about less than 1% of the population. This is really a solution looking for a problem. And in addition, North Carolina, look at the economic. Dine said insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. With all the problems we have in this state, really, we're going to spend time trying to address this and then also deal with all the negative economic issues. Don't forget, we've got the Super Bowl coming here. We want to attract more businesses and more events like that to the city of Houston and the great state of Texas.
You know, the state gnashed its hands together over open carry for 2 years, and we've talked about it on this show that it really turned into a big fizzle, as you and I had discussed privately. Wouldn't this really be the same thing if we just left it alone?
Well, I do open carry we wouldn't really have much of an impact.
Right.
And we were one of the last states, actually, to propose it. But I also think that, remember, when we were talking about HERO last year, a lot of the proponents said that the Super Bowl would pull out, that we would have a lot of negative impacts economically, and that hasn't been proven to be so. So I believe if we do have this statewide ban, I don't believe we're going to see the backlash that Nomi is outlining.
Let me go to Sally. She's monitoring our social media.
Okay, well, head over to Twitter. Take a look at a tweet from the Lieutenant Governor, Dan Patrick, first. He says this is the only thing that he's mentioned on his Twitter account about it, though. He says, I will not spend a single dollar with a business that allows men to use women's bathrooms, referring to Target there. Equality Texas says, thank you, Target, for standing up for what's right with your inclusive bathroom policy. Scott says as well, thank you for your transgender inclusive bathroom policy. Your company has made huge strides in your support of LGBT rights. And then at Bird Spy says, was never a fan of Target. Now I have no desire to shop there ever again. And he recommends you not either. So there you go. Some different opinions about Target taking a stand in this issue.
Well, and it shows the divisive nature of this whole entire argument is those tweets right there.
Right.
But Nomi, let me ask you the same question I just asked Jackie. You know, we gnashed our hands over the open carry, and it turned into a big fizzle. I've never seen anyone even open carrying since we started the law. If we just left this alone and allowed this to happen, wouldn't this largely turn into the same issue? Just nothing?
I completely agree. Look, evil people, unfortunately, are going to do evil things. This whole argument that you're letting men into the bathroom, there's going to be other women there, your daughters there, I mean, that's not going to prevent bad people from doing bad things. Again, this is a solution, looking for a problem. It's a non-issue that's been created into this big thing, and we're wasting valuable time, money, and resources trying to address this.
Let me ask you that. We're out of time, but a pervert who's going to attack somebody doesn't need a law to go into the wrong bathroom to attack somebody, does he?
It's also about comfort level. Some women just feel uncomfortable with having anyone besides another woman in their bathroom.
That's an outstanding point. I want you to address that. We're out of time, but I want you to address that. That's an outstanding point.
Look, as far as women going into women's bathroom and men going into men's bathroom, this is, again, less than 1% of the population. Women should be allowed to go into the bathroom with just women, but the point is that this is not really happening. So why are we spending so much time dealing with it?
All right, thank you. We're out of time on that. We'll be back in the next hour. Two really good topics. Okay.